Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I'm your host, Randi-lee. On the show, we interview other writers and we talk about mental health from their personal journeys. If you have not already hit that like and subscribe button, go ahead, do that now so that you never miss an episode. Wow, 200 episodes. That's pretty big deal. I'm pretty excited. Very excited. So today's episode is going to be a little bit special because it is our 200th episode. Thank you so much for joining with me. And if you are brand new to the show, the early episodes are good too. So go back and watch them and then, watch these ones too. So today I do not have a guest. Sorry, you get to listen to me ramble, but also not actually sorry. I want to just talk about the past 3 years, the past 199 other episodes, and talk about where we're going to go from here. And obviously, if anybody has any questions or anything, I will definitely answer them. If you're watching this after the live, then throw your comments up and I'll be sure to answer them at a future date. So one thing that I notice, especially every time I do an episode, is how different my hair has been all the time. I know it's not mental health related, but it's so fun looking back because I've been making a lot of shorts with the old videos too on YouTube. And I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, I liked that hairstyle. Oh yeah, that was a good color. So it's kind of fun to go see all the changes that just my hair has been through. But I want to talk about how this came to be, especially for people who maybe have not been with us for the whole 3 years here. So Write or Die Show, where did it come from? First off, I cannot take credit for the name. I did not think of it. My best friend actually did, the one that hosts Bedlam Beyond Mental Illness with me. She actually came up with the name. So it's that twist on Ride or Die. So Write or Die show, because Write or Die was taken. So I added show at the end. That's pretty much how that one happened. But I absolutely love the name and it has stuck and it's been fantastic. So huge shout out to Renata for coming up with that because I love it. And why did I start this show? So I started it because, well, I love to hear myself talk. No, that's not really the reason. First off, I always wanted to, when I was little, I was going to be a famous actor. Yes, yeah. So if you need an actor, let me know. But obviously, things in my life did not go according to plan. Do they ever? Probably not. And so this, hosting my own show just made a lot of sense. And then it was, well, what am I going to talk about? Well, I write about mental health, so why wouldn't I talk about mental health? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But is it just going to be me talking or am I going to have guests? So I was talking to some other people at the beginning of the show and they suggested a few different ways to find guests. And I was like, yeah, all right, let's guess this up. And now I have a wait list of guests every time I open up new dates. Because what I usually do is I open up about 3 months of dates at a time. Because if I do more than that, I'm like, oh, what if my life changes? It could change in 3 months, but I got to do a little bit of planning. And so I always have a wait list, which is amazing. The very first time that I put a guest list out there, like wanting guests, I had 80 people contact me. 80 people wanted to come on my brand new show. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought this was going to be like so hard to find guests, but wow, everybody wants to come and talk about mental health and be open and share. And I was absolutely overwhelmed. Luckily, at that time, I was able to do 2 shows a week. Wish I could go back to that, but bills. Maybe one day, maybe one day. But yeah, so at the beginning, I was able to do the 2 episodes a week, so it was really cool. And now we're down to the 1 episode, which is fine. Because we get to focus the energy. But we are still always having a wait list. So I already have, again, so I just opened the fall dates. I think they're almost completely full. I'm waiting to hear back, I think, from a handful of people, but really they're completely full. And I've already started a wait list now for winter dates. So thank you to all the amazing guests that always come on the show and share, because without you guys, there isn't a show, or it's just me talking and that might be boring. So thank you. Well, I'm on thanking people. I want to thank everybody that shows the support, who sends to the who will send some through PayPal sometimes, or go to the merch store. I work really hard on the merch, guys. I really do. Um and so I really appreciate when you guys buy the merch, and obviously that then you'll wear it out there. I hope it doesn't just sit in your closet. But either way, thank you for buying it. Actually, there it was a brand new merch drop. I'm waiting for my sweater to come in. So as soon as it comes in, I will show you. And it was actually my kid that drew the picture for it. So it's really cool. I'm super excited. I think it might become my new fave. I don't know. We'll see. But that is now on the merch store. If you go over there and check it out, it's a dinosaur. It says, "Don't believe everything you think." How cool is that? Because as we know, as individuals that have mental illness, sometimes our brain is a hole. Sometimes it is. And so we can't always believe what it's telling us. Because if I believed everything my brain told me, I wouldn't still be sitting here talking to y'all. I would probably be 6 feet under, because my brain is a giant a-hole. Not a little one, a giant one. So I'm really excited for that shirt, because it just is such a good reminder that, you know what, sometimes our brains like to lie to us, and it can take work to make it stop lying to us. So huge thank you to those who buy the merch, and of course, huge thank you to my kid who just finished that for me not too long ago. Um, Also, huge thank you to the publicists that I have met along the way, who send me amazing guests, because I mean, your guests always show up. I love that. They always show up. And actually, I met my publicist, Mickey from Creative Edge. I met him because he would always send me the guests, and they were always spot on what I wanted to talk about on the show. They always had the forms filled out, because, yeah, there are forms. And always showed up on time. And I was like, I think he knows what he's doing. I'm gonna talk to this guy. And he's awesome. Actually, he's fantastic. He's been on the show as well, talking about being a parent of a kid with autism. So maybe he needs to come back soon. It's been a while. So huge thank you to him, because that was really cool. Now I can say I have my own publicist. Ooh, I feel fancy. So that's all the amazing stuff that has come out of this show. And what I love is that everybody shares something a little bit different. So some major key takeaways from the past 199 episodes. I'm just, the ones that come to mind are the ones that have been said over and over and over. So some big coping strategies, big coping skills that seem to be across the board are journaling. Write it down. Get it out your brain, write it down. I don't know, maybe burn it after if it's mean. Um, but write it down, right? Get that journaling, writing it down has been something that almost every single guest has said. And maybe it's because we're all writers. Actually, I've had some other not writers. I've had a screenplay writer, I've had a voice actor, I've had a regular actor. So I mean, there has been others. But writing it down has been a big one. Going out into nature has also been one of the biggest ones that people have talked about, going out into nature. And I mean, now is the perfect time, being summer, at least here. It's great to go outside. And pets have been a really big one that people talk about too. So, and there's been lots of other ones. Exercise is one that comes to mind. Meditation comes to mind. Therapy obviously is probably top of all the coping strategies that have been talked about in the past 199 shows. But you know what? I would love to hear what your guys' favorite tips have been over the years. Which ones have you liked best? You could toss those in the comments, and then, on another episode, I can go back through and I'll share them, because I think it's important that we know what's resonating with everybody. Um, and so those have been the biggest takeaways, and I have definitely learned some different key things along the way. Like, yeah, okay, I know that writing it down is helpful, and going out in nature is helpful, but there's stuff that I'm like, oh, I've never thought about it that way. And of course, I'm being put on the spot right now, and I can't think about it. Um, But because yes, this is also not scripted, just like every show, not scripted. I just had a general idea what I wanted to talk about for the 200th episode, and I'm rolling with it. But if you go back, you can see these moments where I go, oh, I didn't think of that. And so I'm constantly learning things as well. The show is amazing for that. Where are we headed from here? That's another big thing I wanted to talk about. Like I said, I had a general idea what I want to talk about. Where are we going from here? Because we're definitely not stopping. Oh no, don't worry about that. We are not stopping. We are going full steam ahead. Like I said, I've got the next 3 months already booked up and a wait list for months after that. So what's been cool this year, we've transitioned to doing it live, which is so much fun. And I love when people comment while we're doing it live. It's really fun. It makes me actually, especially when I'm doing, like if my guest doesn't show when I'm just rambling on, it makes me feel like I'm actually talking to somebody, not just doing a recording, which is can be a little bit weird when you're all by yourself. Just saying. Um, so that's been cool. I've switched over to StreamYard, so that's been awesome. I love the ease of it all and how it just goes out there. It definitely takes a lot of afterwards stuff out of what I have to do. I don't edit, which means when I screw up, well, you get to see it. So that's been really fun. So we're definitely going to keep going live. There will be dates, like now that I'm sort of looking ahead a little bit more, planning a little bit more, there are dates that I'm going to have to record and throw them up. Like Christmas lands on a Wednesday this year, guys. Did you know that? It lands on a Wednesday. So there will be a recording. I will have an episode out for y'all, but it will definitely be recorded. I am not doing it live that day. So there will still be some that are recorded and put out, but it works out well for my guests that can't make it on a Wednesday morning. They get a special time so that we can record. They just have to maybe wait a little bit before their episodes get used. So that is a really awesome development that's happened as well, doing it live. And so we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep going with our Wednesday mornings for the next 3 months at least, and then we'll go from there. And we're adding things. So I'm not being as picky. So at the beginning I said I'm talking to authors. That is what I'm doing. But you know what? Other people have so much awesome things to share. So like I said, I've had screenwriters on the show, I've had actors on the show. So anybody in the realm of writing, and it's a pretty loose word, writing. Do you write a blog? I mean, if you journal, you're a writer, even if you don't share it with the world. But a blog writer, I've had somebody who wrote their own program that they use to teach people. So that again, it's a kind of writing. So that's kind of cool. I've opened it up to other things, hopefully get some songwriters on here. I would love, you know who I would love to interview? Citizen Soldier, the lead singer of Citizen Soldier. I found their music on TikTok. I absolutely love their music, and that it's all about mental health. And a lot of it was the lead singer's struggles, at least at the beginning. I don't he's obviously expanded out from there because they have tons of songs. I would love to interview him. So if anybody knows him, tell him to come on the show. Lots of other people I would love to interview too, but he's one that I would absolutely adore to interview. Um, and then we've started already the Bedlam podcast. If you have not had an opportunity to watch that one, it's pretty cool. So Bedlam, Beyond Mental Illness, it's all about the history of mental illness. Where did it come from? And then, so it's me and Renata. She's my best friend. She is the co-author of A Mother's Truth. So she's pretty awesome. She's the one that named the Ride or Die show too. So, um, she came up with I wanted to talk about history of mental health. She came up with the style. So one of us does research, the other and then we read it to the other so that we get like true reactions. And it's pretty cool. I'll admit she usually does the research because I hate it so much. But I have researched, we did bipolar, which I did the research for, which was cool. And our next episode is going to be on lobotomies. And I did the research for that. And oh my goodness, I want to tell you about it so much right now, but I'm not gonna because I don't want to spoil it. So that's if you have not had an opportunity to watch that show, we do it live. However, we don't have a set schedule as of yet. So, I mean, I can't tell you when it's gonna air exactly. We do the best that we can to get together to do it, but, life, being parents and all that fun stuff. But definitely check out those episodes. They're full of tons of really cool information, and it's delivered in a really fun way, which I hope all of the episodes are, even on the show. So that's a additional show that runs on the channel, and it's like I said, it's amazing. It's so much fun. Oh, the other thing is, I used to be like it's mental health channel, right? Where now I've expanded a little bit more. We add a little bit more developmental, and I'm not. I'm not as picky. If somebody wants to come, I've talked to chronic illness people before. Somebody that had a brain tumor, and then it came back. It was awful. But it was good because he was still trucking along. But autism, ADHD, I mean, those have a special place in my heart, of course. So we talk about those, which don't technically fall under the realm of mental illness. They are developmental, but we definitely talk about those on the show too, which is fun. So I'm hoping to, continue on expanding out there, getting other information because I think it's just so important. Um, what else is new? What else is happening? So Substack. Substack is new. So I've had some guests on the show. This is, like I said, I learn stuff. So I've had a few good guests on the show who talk about their Substack. So it's where they're writing their blogs and stuff. So I still have my blog on my website with the book reviews, which obviously check those out because indie authors, we got some good stuff. But Substack is going to be now my more almost like a journaling platform, if you can picture it that way. I recently last week shared something that I haven't really shared too much on the show about my food, my issue with food. So there's going to be some other mental illness stuff written on there, and some behind the scenes stuff, some different writing that's coming up. So it's going to be kind of a mishmash of a bunch of stuff, but definitely I'm going to delve more into my story on Substack because the show is more about the guest stories. So if you want to hear a little bit more about me, then head on over to my Substack. I think I have to add the link into my link tree. I'll check into that. But you can definitely check that out too, and you'll get some more information. So that's something that's cool and new. Something that has been on my mind recently, and I'm going to write a blog post about this today on the Substack. But something that's been on my mind recently. What do you say to somebody who, is, and this is a question I've definitely posed to people on the show. So I want to pose it out there to our big wide audience to give me some info. If you know somebody who is totally struggling, they seem completely off, and you're like, this is not you, something's wrong. What do you say to them? Because I know when I've been depressed and I am contemplating taking my life, which I've definitely been there. Don't worry, guys, I'm not talking about me right now. If somebody said to me, "Oh, your life's not that bad. Look on the bright side." None of those things are good things to say. So I know what not to say, but what do we say? So, I mean, I think about what would I want somebody to say to me, and I'm thinking, huh, maybe nothing. Maybe literally just send me funny jokes. So it's like, okay, I know that you're thinking about me. Um, but what else? What else can you say to somebody to make them see that they're awesome and that they're needed in life? Because I've been there in the deepest, darkest depths where no matter what you said to me, I couldn't see the value in myself. So I would love to hear what everybody thinks about what they might say to somebody in that position, because telling them to just buck up is not the way to do it. So, yeah, share with me your thoughts on that. I would absolutely love to hear that. Um, I think I've rambled enough for today. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to super talk about. I just really wanted to share how excited I am, how thankful I am for everybody that's helped me to build this show up. I would love for everybody to continue to share it out there. We're almost at 250 subscribers, which is a really big deal. So many people with podcasts, they just give up after a handful of episodes because, oh, it hasn't blown up yet. Well, this niche is pretty specific. So I feel like if we can help even just one person each episode, then it's totally worth it. And so thank you everybody for being on the show, for sharing episodes out, tell other people about it. We do it because we care. And everybody has value in this world. Even when we can't see our own value, there is 100% value of every single person on this earth, even if they can't see it for themselves, even if other people can't see it. Because what's popping into my head right now, I mean, there's a huge homeless problem going on where people can't afford to live. And sometimes the homeless problem comes because they have an addiction problem. I mean, my brother was homeless for a lot of years. He wasn't at the end. He did have a place to live at the end, but he was homeless for a lot of years due to his addiction problem. So, I mean, it's not just a homeless problem. It is a mental illness problem that is happening. And so I just feel like, at least from my experience, I remember the show's always about experience. Um, with my brother, he basically medicated himself with drugs, which is what ended up taking his life. And if he would have had help to see his value, to understand why he's doing all the drugs, to medicate from all the trauma, from all the anxiety, he had panic attacks. Um, Maybe then he wouldn't have been medicating with it if he would have got the proper help. So it definitely, there is so much value to every single person, even when they can't see it. Like Brandon, he couldn't see his value. And so he medicated with drugs, and ultimately that took his life. So, and I mean, his life still has value because I'm still talking about it and sharing it, and hopefully other people will realize that they have value. Um, Man, this took a really dark turn. I almost feel like crying. So, but I just feel like, if we can keep sharing this out, talking about it, that's what's going to make the biggest difference, is making sure that we are not quiet. We need to be loud. We need to make noise. We need people to hear us, because every single person has value. Every single person. Don't know what their value will be, but every single person has value for something, somewhere, somehow. They might not ever know it in their lifetime. I don't think Brandon ever knew it in his lifetime, but he has value because his story is helping somebody else right now. So maybe your story isn't helping while you're alive. Maybe it's helping later. I'm not saying to caveat here. I am not saying to not be here, because you are not finished being here. You have so much left to do. You have so much left to give in this lifetime, even if you can't see it. The people around you can see it, even when you can't. Okay, before I start crying, because I'm totally going to start crying, I am going to sign off. So thank you for listening to me ramble on our 200th episode. I cannot believe we've made it this far. I am so excited. My husband can't believe we made it this far, because I will fully admit, I get hyper focused on something and then I lose interest and go to something else. But I absolutely love doing this. It's really exciting to finally find something that I love doing and want to continue doing all the time. And if I could do it every single day and I didn't have to worry about paying my bills, I totally would. So I don't know, maybe I'll make 1 million followers one day, and that'll be that'll be that. Who knows? Anything can happen in this crazy world. So remember, you have so much value. You might not see it yourself, but you are definitely valued, you are loved, and you need to just keep going. And that is enough for me. I'll see y'all next week, back to our regular style of interviews with a guest. Bye. As always, thank you so much for the amazing guests that we have on the show. Be sure to check out their links down in the description below. If you want to support the channel, go ahead and check out our merch store. We've got some very cool things on there. That's my favorite. Sorry, I'm busy ending the stigma. But there's some other very cool designs. 10% of the proceeds always goes back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at RB Media, because we have some great new shows coming up and you never want to miss any of those episodes. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.